Good evening, everybody. Hello. Okay, well, first off, welcome to Angel B Designs. I'm Angel B. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. Um, so I like to start off all of my lives by basically just kind of going over some, I guess, house rules. Um, or just kind of explaining how we do things here on my channel. Um, I do a craft on live. I answer questions in real time. I interact with the chat. Um, and, I may have a story time, I may not. That's just what we do here. I don't typically always get right to the point. I might do a little bit of talking beforehand. If you are looking for a tutorial, what I try to do is when I go live, I try to make sure that whatever project I'm doing on my live, I already put out a pre-recorded video for this project. So for today, we're doing the Peekaboo Sublimation shirt, and I did do a pre-recorded video on this last week. So if you are not wanting to interact and be a part of the chat or see all of that, that's perfectly okay. Head on over to my channel, and there's a pre-recorded video there that you can take a look at. For today, you guys, I don't know if you can hear it. I'm like kind of nasally. I'm a little sick. I do have a sore throat. So we're not going to be on here for too long. I am going to make the Peekaboo Sublimation shirt. I was going to bling too. But like I said, I'm just not feeling well and I didn't want to cancel. I still wanted to come on and do this. So we're just going to do the one shirt tonight. But that's what we're doing. We are doing the Peekaboo Sublimation shirt. And for those who don't know, this is the shirt that I'm talking about. Like I said, I do have a pre-recorded video on this, and I made a pink one as well. And this is what we're going to be doing today. The one I'm doing today is going to be kind of Halloween themed, just a little bit, or fall/Halloween theme. But this is the image that we're going to be doing. Now, this is sublimation. Okay. Look how vibrant that is. This is my sublimation ink. So this is the image I'll be printing. And I printed it on a sub paper. Okay. But the first thing I want to do before we head over and cut up the shirt and cut up our pieces and everything like that, I'm going to show you the settings that I use to print. Because I know I get so many questions about that. But before we even get started there, I'm going to say hello to everybody because I appreciate you for being here. You could be anywhere else, but you decided to, come and craft and chat with me, and I appreciate it. So I'm going to go ahead and scroll up, and like I said, we're going to get right into it. I don't want to do too much. My throat is killing me. Hey, Penny Smith, thank you so much for being here. Hey, Dee, how are you? Hey, Carol, Minerva's Handmade Creations, how are you? Hey, Lois, it keeps sounding like somebody is trying to open up my door, but I think it's down the hall. Hey, Rhonda, how are you? Hey, Marlene. Hey, Martin Jones. Hey, Martha. Hey, Karen. Hey, Leslie, how are you? And Valerie, thank you so much for being here. Yep, make sure you guys are hitting the like button on your way in. Hey, Robin. Hey, Teresa. Hey, Lucille. Hey, Michelle. You're very welcome, Michelle. I appreciate you for watching. Hey, Cheryl, how are you? Hey, Tanya, how are you? Hey, Addie, how are you? Hey, Devana. Hey, Geneva. Hey, Loretta. Hey, Sandra, how are you? WC03, hello. Hey, Derica. And Patsy and Angela. Hello. Thank you, everybody, for being here. I truly appreciate it. Like I said, if you are just popping in, we're going to do the Sublimation Peekaboo shirt. But we're not going to be on here too long. It may take me about an hour to do it. because like I said, I don't really feel well. My throat is killing me, so I don't want to be on here for too long. But we're gonna go ahead and get started. So the first thing I want to do is I want to show you my print settings. I do get so many questions about my print settings when it comes to sublimation. So let me share my screen. Okay, so normally when I am printing my sublimation images, typically I never cut. I've never actually cut out a sublimation image. And I don't know how many beginners we have for sublimation, but when it comes to sublimation, it's not like transfer paper. I know a lot of people always ask what settings do I cut my sublimation on, and you know that has to be for people who don't use sublimation, because when you're using sublimation, you don't have to ever cut out your image with a cutter, because if you're using like a converted printer or maybe like a Sawgrass or something like that, there's no white ink. So the white that's around the image is not going to actually show onto your shirt the way that it would for transfer paper if you didn't cut the white off. Sublimation is not the same. The only thing that transfers from the paper to your garment is the ink, not the actual paper itself. Just the ink transfers. So because there is no white ink, the white that's around your image is not going to transfer. Okay, so you don't need to cut it. The most important thing, or one of the most important things, is your print settings. I do have a video where if you have, like if you get lines in your print, either vertical or horizontal, I do have a video showing you how to fix those. But let me show you my print settings. I always print from Silhouette Studio. I do currently have the business edition now. I only got the business edition so that I can make rhinestone templates and I can export them as SVGs. If you do not export your artwork often, or if you do not make any templates or anything like that, or need to really use the rhinestone panel, you can use the Silhouette Studio free version to simply print. When I first started sublimation, I would, for like a whole year, I was simply just opening up Silhouette Studio to print my sublimation images from there. I didn't use Silhouette Studio for anything else. So I didn't actually get the business edition until maybe 2 years later, when I actually started to do rhinestones. So if you're just not getting into sublimation and you need somewhere to print from, definitely look into the Silhouette Studio free version. You don't need a cutter and you don't need to pay for it. Okay. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show you my settings. I'm going to go to print. Now I am printing from an Epson, a converted Epson EcoTank 8550, which is a wide format printer. And I do have my drivers installed. Somebody asked me, how do you install your drivers? You go to the Epson website and you download them from there, depending on if you are using a Windows or a Mac. Okay. But once you get this up here, you're going to go over to preferences, and then you're going to get the main panel here. The paper source, I mean, you can choose. I leave mine on auto. The cassette tray only holds, I believe, 8.5 by 14 on this printer. Anything bigger than that, you're going to have to use the rear paper feeder. When you set your paper size, it's going to automatically go to the rear paper feeder. You don't necessarily have to choose it every time. You can just put it on auto, and it'll auto adjust according to what your document size is. For this image, I did 11 by 17, but you can print anywhere from the A4 size all the way up to like Super B, where it says 17 by 22. That's even bigger than Super B. Okay. I am going to do borderless printing on portrait, and then I'm going to be doing premium presentation paper matte. That's what I printed this image on already. Sometimes if I'm having line issues, I will switch to the plain paper, bright white paper setting if I'm having any lines in my print that aren't roller marks. Okay. If I'm having any issues, I always tend to kind of switch between those two settings, the plain paper, bright white paper, or the premium presentation paper matte is the two I kind of toggle between. Sometimes it depends on how much ink is being released onto the paper, what the image looks like. If there's a whole lot of colors, this one has a lot of neutral tones. But if I'm printing something that's really bright, really vibrant, has like neon colors, then I may have to toggle between the two settings depending on what the image looks like. Okay. My color is on color, and then the quality is on high. Yours may say best, it may say high, but whatever the best setting is, you want to make sure it's on that. And then going over to the more options, I turn off the bi-directional printing, which is the high-speed printing. So some printers say high speed, some printers say, I think fast speed or something like that. Some say bi-directional printing. It all is just the high-speed printing or the fast printing. I turn that off and I leave my mirror checked so I don't have to remember to mirror my image myself. My printer will automatically mirror it for me. Hey, Demspoo, how are you? Hey, everybody popping in. And that is pretty much it. Those are my settings. Those were my settings that I used to print this image. This is where I printed from. I don't do anything, special. I don't have any special settings downloaded or anything like that. I have my drivers installed, and those are the settings I use with my drivers. And this is the software that I print from. I have printed from Leonardo Design Studio as well. Still got a very, very high quality image. The difference with Silhouette Studio and Leonardo Design Studio is if you were to print from there, you are going to get the registration marks, just like you would if you were to print from Cricut Design Space. So you will have to trim them off, but it's definitely not hard to do at all. If you print from Silhouette Studio, obviously there's no registration marks here because I don't have a cutter hooked up. So that's the kind of the beauty of the Silhouette Studio. Okay. So I'm going to stop sharing. Does anybody have any questions on my settings? Thank you, Lynette. I got it from Creative Fabrica. I did leave it linked down in the description box. Sorry if I'm sniffling, you guys. I'm sorry. Like, I literally just today started feeling so like terrible. And it's crazy because the cold kind of made its way through my whole house. Gavin had a cold for like a week, maybe 10 days ago, something like that. And then Levi had it, and then CJ had it last week. And then Zay caught it maybe 3 days ago. And then 2 days ago, my husband started sniffling and sneezing. And then today, I want to say like around lunchtime, it just kind of hit me like a ton of bricks. And I was like, oh my gosh, I feel like, can you guys hear it? Like, do I sound nasally? I feel like everything happened. You know, when like the sickness just comes over you and you just are sitting there. And then within like 10 minutes, you're like, wow, I feel terrible. That's kind of like how it came on. So if I sound nasally, I'm sorry. And if I'm sniffling again, I'm sorry. I didn't want to cancel. I wanted to come on and do this one shirt, but yeah, I don't really feel that well. Hey, everybody. Hey, Patrice Boo. How are you? Okay, so those are the settings that I use to print. This is the image I printed. For those that are just now popping in, this is the image that I printed for my Epson EcoTank. This is what it looks like after I printed. Let me turn this off so that, okay. So you see how my black is nice and saturated. There's no, I can't remember if it's the vertical or the horizontal lines, but sometimes you can get those lines like in your black or some of the other colors. Even though when you print your sublimation, the print is going to look dull because it is heat activated, it still should look like crisp, not vibrant, but it should still look crisp. It should still look clear. It shouldn't be blurry. It shouldn't be any of those things. The heat doesn't fix the blurriness. If it's blurry on the paper, it's going to be blurry on your shirt when you press it. The only difference between the way it looks on your paper and the way it's going to look on your shirt is the vibrancy of the color, because the color is heat activated. So when the heat gets applied to this and it's transferring from the paper to your shirt, it's going to get more vibrant, or your garment or whatever. It's gonna become more vibrant as long as you're using a high polyester count, okay, or satin. That's the only difference. In terms of like blurriness, I know some people have asked me about, hey, it looked blurry on the paper, and then when I pressed it, I thought that when I pressed it, the blurriness would go away. No. If it looks blurry on your paper, it is going to look blurry on your shirt. It doesn't fix blurriness. If it looks smeared or ghosted on your paper, it's going to look smeared and ghosted on your garment. Okay? It doesn't fix that. The only thing, like I said, the only thing it fixes is the vibrancy of the colors. So you still want your image to look nice and clean and crisp. You don't want any smearing. You don't want those roller marks. You don't want those. That will transfer to your garment. The roller marks will transfer. You don't want any of that, okay? You still want it to look like a very crisp, clean image. Okay? Hopefully that makes sense. So I'm going to go ahead and add in my table here. And then we have to cut up the shirt and cut up the fabric, and then we can press. Okay, let me know if you guys can still hear me. Yes, yes. Okay, great. Sometimes when I switch to my iPad, I have it muted, so I want to make sure I didn't. Okay, so when you're cutting up your shirt, first thing, let me cut up the fabric. Okay, so this is just a piece of satin fabric that I purchased from Walmart. I've cut it up and I've used it quite a bit of times, which is this. That's why I only have this much left. But I did get this piece of fabric from Walmart. You guys, I'm moving around my office and I can't find nothing. I keep like turning around trying to go get my supplies from over there, but they're over here behind me now. But yeah, I just got this. It's just a piece of satin fabric that I got from Walmart. Nothing spectacular. They have it in the fabric section. You can either get like an associate to cut off some fabric for you, or they have some that are kind of like in the pre-cut packages. You can I think that's what I ended up getting. I got one of the, it was like a 4x6, 4 feet by 6 feet piece of fabric, and I just trimmed it as I needed it. So however you want to do it. But this is my piece of fabric. Obviously, this is a little too big. I'm going to make this. I made my image about 10 inches. Yeah, I made my image about 10 inches. So I want to make sure I'm cutting off a nice piece of fabric. And you want to keep in mind that when you are making this shirt, let me grab it. You want to keep in mind when you're cutting your fabric that you don't want to cut, like, you want to have a little bit of wiggle room when you're cutting your fabric. You don't want to cut it the exact size, because you have to adhere these sides here to the inside of the shirt. So you don't, like, let's say this is like you're making your piece of fabric 10 inches. If your image is 10 inches, you want to cut a piece of fabric that's maybe 12 or 13 inches to accommodate for the piece of fabric that you need to have to be able to adhere it to the size of the shirt. Hopefully that makes sense, okay? So my image, I'm just going to place it on the fabric, and I'm just going to kind of look to see where I should cut it. Now let me see if I can show you guys. So here's the image. Here's what it's going to look like when I sublimate it. I need a little bit of wiggle room here because this is going to be the part I adhere to the shirt. This is going to be the part I adhere to the shirt, right? I would say maybe about 1.5 to 2 inches going in every direction, because that's going to be the part of the fabric that I actually adhere to the inside of the shirt. Okay? Does that make sense? Am I confusing anybody? And then I'm just going to take my rotary blade and just kind of cut. You can measure it with the actual image, or you can, use a ruler, however, whatever works for you. Hey everybody, how are you guys? WC03, I am using satin fabric. Hey Delonda, how are you? Thank you, Donzel. Okay, so I have my fabric measured out to my image. I'm happy with this size here. So now what we need to do is we're going to go over to the heat press. Nope, it's still not all the way up to temperature. It's only at 350. So while we're waiting for that to get up to temperature, we can go ahead and cut out our shirt. I'm using, it's a Bella canvas. I think it's 100% cotton. Nope, it's 50% polyester, 50% cotton. Bella canvas, okay, in the color black. Now, you want to have something go on the inside of your shirt, because when you're slicing your shirt in the front, you don't want to slice it all the way to the back. I mean, unless, like, I guess if you want to, you can, for sure, but I don't want to. I just want the cuts to be on the front and not the back. So I just had, this was actually a piece of, I had a shelf and I got rid of the shelf, but this was kind of like an insert that went on the shelf. And when I was getting rid of it, because it's really thick and really sturdy, I was like, I'm going to keep this. And now I just kind of use it for like a shirt insert. But you can use some cardboard, like if you have a box and you want to cut it up. Just make sure you're watching your pressure when you're pushing down on your rotary blade and you're not also cutting through the cardboard. Whatever you have on hand. I mean, if you want to go out and buy like the shirt insert that they have at Hobby Lobby, you can, but you don't need to. Okay, now I'm going to lay down my piece of fabric that I have measured out, so I can kind of decide where I'm going to place it on the shirt. Okay, so that looks good. Now, I know that I don't want to start my slits here because this is what I'm going to use to adhere. Same here. I want to stop my cut here. I don't want to take my cut here because I need this space to adhere the shirt. So I'm going to start here. Let me get a ruler to kind of place down. So I want to stop my slits. You can use a ruler to kind of figure out where you want to stop your slits. So I want to stop here. Okay, let me try to show you guys. So I'm using the ruler to measure. I'm not going to cut down here. I'm not going to cut back here. I'm not going to cut down here, and I'm not going to cut back here. So it's going to start here and here. Make sense? And then it's going to stop here and stop here. Okay? So you can kind of use some rulers to figure out where you're going to cut. And you can make your slices thin. You can make them thick. However you want to do it. You guys, this is a fun shirt. And another thing, this is not one of those shirts that's just gonna last forever through 1,000,001 washes. It's not going to. It's fun with you cutting up the fabric and making these slits. They're gonna wear in the wash, right? They're not gonna hold up forever. So if this is something that you're doing for fun and you're selling it, just make sure you're telling your customer that, please do not expect this shirt to last you 20 years. Okay, and now here's our slit there. And the image is we're gonna put it underneath. Okay. My heat press just automatically turned off. Yes, polyester is fine. You can sublimate on polyester or satin. Hey, Latasha, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it. Need to see evidence. I don't even know if this makes 25 washes. I made one of these shirts, or like two of these shirts, maybe 3 years ago. When was that trend? 2 or 3 years ago? Something like that. I have no idea where that shirt is. Okay. So that's, hopefully you guys can see. That's what the little slits look like. And then the piece of fabric we're going to adhere underneath it. Okay. We are going to go ahead and sublimate. So we're going to go on over to the heat press. I say it every live. One of these days, I am going to get multiple cameras so I don't have to move you guys around. And I moved my office around, you guys, like a lot. So I may do a new office tour. I'm going to get some butcher paper to put down because, as you can see, I've already sublimated on this mat once. So I need to make sure I get some butcher paper so I don't do it again. I sublimated clearly on this mat. So let me get some butcher paper. Okay, this is the fabric that we cut out. Now I'm gonna put some heat resistant tape I'm gonna tape. The way I'm gonna tape it is I'm gonna tape. I'll just tape the image to the fabric. Because sometimes with, I don't know if this happens with anybody else's auto press. Sometimes I get the issue where when the top comes up, my paper is stuck to it. And sometimes when that happens with sublimation, I get ghosting. I just need to be mindful when the image is about to pop up, maybe hold my paper down on the sides, because I hate when that happens. And then I'm going to put a piece of butcher paper right on top. And then I'm going to sublimate for 60 seconds. Uh-oh, my auto is not on. There we go. For 60 seconds at 400 degrees. Delonda, I think I wore mine maybe once. And then I have no idea what happened to it after that. Do you think it will start to rip away? I think it would. I think that the adhesive hem, I don't think it's meant to withhold like a whole bunch of washes. I think that hem tape or the adhesive tape will start to not be sticky. And I think that with multiple washes, I think that the fabric is going to pull away from the shirt. And then I also think the little slits in the front, they're going to probably get like really droopy and saggy, and then just not look good anymore after, like they're going to get stretched out essentially. So this is one of those shirts where it's like I said, it's fun maybe for an event or two, um like for Halloween theme, if you're doing like maybe going to a Halloween party and you're doing like the Jason characters, right? Or I, in the previous video, I did a 90s theme. So if you're going to like a themed party and you're doing something like this, or maybe even for cheerleaders, if it's like a cheer shirt, something like that, that would be a cute thing. But it's not, this is not one of those things that's just going to last forever. It's cute. I would say 1 to 5 wears. I think after that, it's just going to start to look a mess. So just make sure if you decide to sell this, which my personal opinion, I wouldn't sell it, only because, like I said, customers don't like to listen when you say something's not going to last forever. They don't like to listen to that. So, I mean, if you're making, if you make a couple for some family and friends for a cute little event, that's one thing. Selling, it could get a little tricky. Oh, that looks so cute. Okay, so here's the image here. That looks so stinking cute. I see, this is why I put the butcher paper down, because that would have been on my mats. OMG, it still is on my mat. You guys, no way. That went through the butcher paper, through the silk, and there is still that ghost image on my mat. This poor mat. Look at that. Can y'all see it? I think I have the hottest HTV Raw auto press that they ever sent out, because why does that keep happening to me and nobody? Does that happen to anybody else? I feel like I'm the only person this happens to. Patricia, that would be a really good idea. I don't sew, so I'm not sure. I can't even start to tell you how you would do that. I have absolutely no idea because I don't sew. But yeah, if you could get it to If you could sew it to the front and get it to stick, absolutely. Let me go grab the hem tape, the adhesive tape. Y'all, I don't actually know where my adhesive tape is. All right, we may have a problem. Remember I told you guys I switched around my, oh, here it is. Woo, thank God I found it. Okay. I was about to be so upset because I switched around my office and I couldn't find it, but I found it. Here it is. Okay, so I also got this from Walmart as well. It's the adhesive fabric tape and it comes in white and black. So for this shirt, because it's black, I'm going to use the black one. So Marta says she sewed it before. I would love to see how that look. Marta, are you in my Facebook group? Can you upload it? I want to see how it looks. You guys, I might have to switch to my 16 by 20. I'm going to see if I can do it on my 15 by 15. Like, can you see the stitches on the front when you do it that way? That would be the only thing like I would be kind of confused about is if you're sewing it, if you can see the stitching like on the front of the shirt. How do you combat that? I'm not even sure why I'm asking because whatever you say, I'm not even going to understand what you're saying. But do you see the stitching on the front when you do it that way? Hey, everybody. Hey, Miss Joy. Thank you for being here. Hey, everybody. I appreciate you guys for being here. Okay. So let me grab my scissors. Okay, so I'm basically just going to put this close to the slits without covering them up so that we don't see it. This would be like a cute, like if you did a Christmas theme one too, you can get like let's say you did this on a ugly sweater, like you can get real creative, right? If you did this on like a little sweatshirt, and then you added like the little green, silver, and red, like the little pom-pom things that people put on their shirts for decoration. I mean, you could get real creative again for themes. This is just a cute themed shirt. Nothing that's going to last forever. Unless you go the stitch route. But again, I haven't tried that. I don't sew. So you would definitely just have to give it a try and see if it works. Or I saw Marilyn said that she sublimated onto a tank and just layered it. That you could do that as well if you're looking for more longevity. And maybe hand wash the shirt that has the slits in it. Hand wash that one, and then you can machine wash the tank that has the sublimation on it if you did that route. Okay. I think this is the right way. Now, I'm just going to make sure this is lined up. If it's too long, that's fine. You can always trim it after you press it. I'm actually going to turn this heat like way, way down. I should have been turned it down because this adhesive tape, you guys, it don't need too much time or temperature at all. You really could use a home iron to do it. I'm going to do like 3 seconds. I cut it all the way down to 300 for like 3 seconds. Yeah, glow in the dark would be really cute too. If you use a zipper foot and sew as close as possible to the edge, you would be fine. Okay. I have no idea what a zipper foot is. But it sounds like it's a way to hide the stitches, which is ultimately the answer to the question I was asking. You guys, I want to make some little the little tiny notebooks. So I have a cinch machine, and I got this small notebook from Sublimate. Let me show you guys. This is one of the little notebooks I got in my little care packet from Sublimate. And I was looking at it because I kind of stuck it in my purse. And because I was like jotting little things down or whatever. And I don't know what made me think about it. I was like, I could make this. I've made a whole lot of journals, notebooks, planners, things like that. But I've never made any this size. So I wanted to give it a try. So I think the next thing I'm going to do is pull out my cinch and figure out how to make these small ones. I'm pretty sure it's just as simple as probably cutting the chipboard and the pages and then cutting the coils as well. But I think I want to try that. So I think I'm going to pull out my cinch probably tomorrow and see if I can make some of these little, like everything customized. And I don't know if I showed you any notebooks I used to make, but I used to customize like the inside pages. Like I would take, if there was like a piece of clip art that I put on the front of the notebook or the journal, I would take that same piece of clip art and I would put it on the page and then dim the transparency really, really low. So it kind of looked faded, but you could still see it on the page. So it made it look, decorative. If you were to do that in something small like this, it will probably be less expensive. But how would you print it though if you were to cut it? Not me brainstorming on live. If you just cut the pages, now I'm trying to figure out how you would get them on the small pages after you cut it down. I'm not sure. I gotta figure it out. We're almost down. We're at 336. I was waiting for this temperature to get down to 300 so I don't scorch the tape, because you don't want, if you scorch the tape, it's not gonna stick. So you want to make sure you don't scorch your tape either. But that's what I'm waiting for. It's at 329 now, so I'm just waiting for the heat press to cool down a little bit. What is everybody else working on tonight? Are you guys working on anything? I'm going to. We're about done here. Like, if you guys are just popping in, this live isn't going to be too long. I was going to do a Bling shirt, but literally, like right before, well, probably around lunchtime, I just got randomly so sick. Like, I really don't feel well at all. My throat hurts. My nose is all stopped up. So I didn't want to cancel because I had already set the live to on my channel. So I was like, I'm gonna go in there and still do the shirt, but I'm just gonna make it a quick one tonight so I can go home and lay down. But we're about done. I'm still just waiting for this to go down. It's at 307, so we're about there. Mylene, I caught. Oh, did y'all see my little thumbs up? I forgot I'm on the iPad, so I can do it. Oh, look at that. My computer over there on the table is a MacBook, so I've never been able to do it. Can I do the heart? That's so cool. Okay, I'm at 300 and it's literally only going to be 30 seconds. I'm also going to put some parchment paper right here because there's a little bit of the exposed tape and I don't want that to stick to the top of my plate. Okay. So now it's stuck to the shirt. I do have a lot of extra fabric here. So I'm just going to go ahead and snip this off. Trying not to snip the tape. You can leave it if you want to. I just feel like, y'all, I made this shirt for me. I'm probably going to wear it at least once because I made it. I just feel like if you left that fabric, it might get a little annoying. Unless you wore another, like a tank or something underneath it. But I'm just going to go ahead and trim this excess fabric off. And then we can turn that off. OMG, that's so stinking cute. And there is the shirt. This one's not as vibrant just because the image I went with is a little bit more subtle, but look how cute that is. This is such a little cute idea. And then, like I said, like if you were gonna do this for like let's say cheerleading, right? You wanted to add maybe some of that screen print confetti, you can add that to the outside, or even if you wanted to add glitter vinyl, right? Maybe little hair bows, um, going around. Even for a cheer shirt, you could cut the sleeves. You could cut down here at the bottom. and do the little ties on the side if it's going to be like a cheer shirt. It's such a cute idea, but like I said, it's not going to be forever, but it is a super, super cute kind of themed shirt. Let me grab the other one so you guys can see that. This was the first one I did, which was, and I did this one with the gilding for the 90s themed. And then for this one, I made it a little bit bigger going across the shirt. And then I also made the slits on this one a little bit thinner. So there's more of them on this one versus this one. I made them bigger and there's less of them. But then I also kind of made it smaller going this way. So you can really get creative with it, you guys. But I definitely wanted to show you on live how to do it so I can answer any questions that y'all have. But I'm going to go ahead over to the computer. All right. Thank you guys. That did not take me long at all, and I kind of feel bad, but you guys, I feel terrible. Even just drinking that kind of like burned my throat a little bit. Mylene, this definitely is not going to be a long live at all, so you don't have to go back too far. I wanted to make, I might make another one next week for a little girl to kind of show you guys, and then I may give it away because I have some really cute ideas for this shirt, but I have all boys, so I may just do it anyways and give the shirt away. Make like a little, I wanted to make a theme one, either a cheer one or maybe like a princess themed one or something like that. I just don't like when I have a lot of ideas because I don't have any girls. And I'm like, dang, if I make that, my kids can't wear it. None of my kids can wear it. So I may just do it anyway and give it away because I really want to make one. I think it would be so cute. Like I want to get my idea out into the actual craft. You know what I'm saying? But you guys, I'm sorry this is going to be such a short live. I really am, but I need to go lay down. My throat is killing me. But I did just want to make sure that I showed you guys that I didn't want to cancel. Does anybody have any questions before we get out of here? If not, I'm going to go lay down. Let me look through the comments real quick, make sure I didn't miss anything. Thank you guys. I do like the larger cuts versus the smaller ones as well. That's bigger than 13 by 19. Yeah, you would have to tape images together. All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. I hope you guys have a wonderful evening. I hope you guys have a wonderful week. I really appreciate you for watching, as always. I will see you guys next week. Have a good night.